Hi, my name's David, and I think talking to myself is reasonably acceptable. So, I, like just about everyone else that follows comics, follows a bunch of different types of comic websites and threads and other kind of message boards and all this other stuff. And just like everyone else that follows those, I read about rumors and other stuff that's going on or other speculation from the community of what people think might be going on in storylines from either movies or comics or anything. This happens in most areas of particular fans, per se, such as, TV, sports. Everything has their speculation and rumors. That being said, when you hear about these rumors, you've got to remember that they are rumors. I think that our community as a whole has a really hard time with keeping the two separated. We will take something that is just theorized as what could be the new status quo, and we take that and we just say that that's what's going on and that's what's happening because we believe it to be true. It really frustrates me when a rumor gets treated as fact when it hasn't been confirmed as 100% fact. And this happens all the time, with most recently when Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch turned out to not be mutants anymore, when the whole Axis retcon of Magneto not being their father happened. Everyone was really upset about all that happening and just assumed that it had to be in line that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, if I can ever actually say that correctly, would become Inhumans. In the movies, Marvel has taken Inhumans and put them in and is planning on putting them in the role of X-Men, since they can't really use a lot of their great stories that involve the conflict with the X-Men, since Fox owns the movie rights. And this has led to a lot of comics such as Inhumans, or the current Inhuman run by Charles Soule, and a bunch of other stuff trying to let people know that read comics, or any newcomers, what it's all about. So a lot of the community thought that Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch would become Inhumans. And they said that this was 100% fact. There was no getting around this whatsoever. And a lot of people were told that no, it's not going to be anything else. This is what's going to happen. Which was really unfortunate when it turned out that that's not what was going on. In the comics, they went back with an original idea, which was that the High Evolutionary was behind whatever their powers were, which was back in the original days of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Or at least I think it was. Another one is that there has been some talk about how the Justice League Darkseid War is taking place at the same time as Scott Snyder's Batman. There's some other stuff going on with Batman, with the Bat Rabbit and all that kind of stuff. Which, if I remember correctly, the Batman's taking place farther along in time than Justice League is. Endgame hasn't even happened yet when Darkseid War is going on. So this kind of goes in line with the whole rumor thing. Sometimes they turn out right, but that doesn't mean they will always be right. And as comic book fans need to remember that until something is labeled as canon, or this is the new status quo or whatever, for that, even if it's just that particular time, until it's been labeled, I think we need to make sure that we say when we're talking about a rumor or speculation, we need to make sure that it's stated. Otherwise, we're just going to end up confusing and misinforming people of our own community who are just coming in or haven't been around as long or any of that kind of stuff. And it just turns into a really big mess. So, thank you all for listening. Even though I make no sense whatsoever half the time and I sound like an idiot, I think I'm going to be doing this every week, I think. So, come back, keep on listening, and I will see you next week, I guess, for more comic thoughts. I sound so stupid.